Travelers to the Bush Holly Historic Site, situated on the Mianus River in the historic village of the Cos Cob section of Greenwich, will be transported into a world still vibrating to the rhythms of a distant age. The Bush Holly House offers visitors a dual interpretation of two distinct periods of American history: the post-American Revolution era and the age of American Impressionism. The Bush family was one of the wealthiest in 18th century Greenwich, and David Bush was a prosperous merchant.
David Bush had the rights to operate the mill on the lower landing here. This was a crucial place because it was just off the Mianus River leading out to the Cos Cob Harbor, and the farmers brought their produce down here, and he in turn shipped it to New York and then brought back manufactured goods for the community.
David Bush married Sarah, his sister-in-law, in 1777. They raised their 15 children here during the turbulent Revolutionary War era, a time when David's refusal to sign the oath of fidelity to the Patriot cause led to the family's loss of social standing in the community. The parlor is presented now as it would have looked in about 1820. The furnishings blend features from the colonial and early national periods, Sarah Bush's older dining table contrasting with the next generation's updated carpeting, Franklin stove, and imitation wood graining. Like most members of the merchant elite at the time, Sarah and David Bush managed their large household and business interests with the help of enslaved Africans whose personal sleeping quarters were most likely located above the kitchen chamber.
The slaves were an integral part of this household, and they also were valuable contributors to the success of David Bush's businesses. At any given time, half of the household were African Americans. They included, for example, patients who gave birth to 6 children in this house.
After David Bush's death, Sarah had life use of 1/3 of the house, while her adult children occupied the rest. After a stroke in 1821, Sarah moved into a first-floor bedroom. 4 generations of the Bush family lived in this house until 1848, when, with no male heir to pass along the family business, the property went into bankruptcy. In 1882, Josephine and Edward Holly bought the home with the intention of operating it as a boarding house, and soon many artists associated with the Art Students League in New York City flocked to Cos Cob. The Holly House became the inspiration and muse for the important American painters of their age.
The Cos Cob Art Colony is important not just in terms of Connecticut art, but in the broader history of American art in general. 4 of the 5 artists who are considered the most important artists that we now call American Impressionists worked here in Cos Cob and did important work here. They were John Twachtman, Childe Hassam, Theodore Robinson, and J. Alden Weir.
For the generation of American artists rediscovering the beauty and wonder of country life, the painters of the Cos Cob Art Colony were there to capture a way of life along a New England seaport village that was slipping away. From 1890 to 1920, more than 200 artists and writers passed through these doors. They gathered here to paint and share progressive ideas about art and society. Entering the front hall, guests were transported into an artistic environment infused with a sense of place, past, and family, a kind of living history. The Holly's daughter, Constance, married boarding artist Elmer McCrae. They had twin daughters who became frequent models for their father and other artists. Communal living made the Holly House like summer camp, and guests came throughout the seasons with its close proximity to New York City. The Holly women worked hard to assure that everyone was well fed and comfortable. Upstairs is an impeccably restored working artist's abode, the studio of Elmer McCrae. On the easel is a portrait of his wife, Constance Holly McCrae. This studio provides a glimpse into the life, identity, and interests of the artist, including his passion for Japanese art, which was in fashion at the time. The best bedroom was where influential guests like Childe Hassam and his wife Maud stayed. Hassam, now one of the most iconic personalities in American art, loved this room and found inspiration for his paintings and etchings in the classical elegance of the room's Federal-style mantelpiece. In 1913, Elmer McCrae helped organize New York City's Armory Show, the first large exhibition of modern art in America. The show profoundly changed the work of many American artists, including McCrae's, who completed Japanese Iris just 1 year after the show.
By the 1920s, American Impressionism was certainly very much passé, and artists would tend to settle in a place like Cos Cob rather than come out to a boarding house.
The McCraes lived here for the rest of their lives. Constance Holly McCrae sold the house to the Greenwich Historical Society in 1957. Today, the headquarters of the Greenwich Historical Society includes the National Historic Landmark Bush Holly House, restored gardens, an education center with adult and family programs, the Historical Society's archives, and the 19th century storehouse offering changing exhibitions to the public. The tempestuous times of the Revolutionary War years and the vibrant era of the Coscob Art Colony are gone, but this unique historic site, with its compelling stories of generations of the Bush and Holly families, provides a vital bridge to our rich cultural past.
Funding provided by CPTV, the State of Connecticut, Melinda and Paul Sullivan, Connecticut Humanities Council, Greenwich Historical Society, and People's United Bank. What know-how can do.